I'm not terrified of guns or anything. When someone's
Okay, can you save that story for like some other time?
There we go. Are you ready yet?
I'm sitting here in front of the camera ready to go. You're like standing there gesticulating in a wild manner.
Gesticulating.
I don't know what happened in the story. Maybe he died. Who knows?
I did not die. I'll tell you what, I wish I had. The guy comes out, bursts out with
We
his
should
shotgun,
only be so
dude.
lucky.
Bursts out with a shotgun. I'm just like sitting there like, dude, please put the friggin'
my
shotgun
God.
down. And yeah, he finally dropped it. I'm like, dude, I'm a county prosecutor. You shooting me is like shooting a cop.
Right.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
And he finally just put it down. I'm like, dude, I'm just delivering a piece of paper.
That
Please
is
don't
not-
kill me.
That's not a fight to have.
Yeah. Choose your battles, please.
All right, sorry. I just want to make sure he's still alive.
I am still alive.
I just had to see how the story ended. All right, here we go. Craft Beer Budz, beer number 2. All Mike, all week long. Craft Beer Budz, where the palate always prevails because we don't know what we're drinking until we drank it. 3 mics, no waiting. And
With only 2 mics to share among us. So we actually have 5
We have
mics.
5 mics.
6 mics.
Oh, 6 mics.
I got one here.
So we got 6
I'm
mics.
sorely outnumbered
The
and
mics.
feeling every second of it.
The mics have it.
The mics have it. So okay, shall we dive right
This is
in?
a can. I've not had a can here before.
That's-
I know there's been a couple cans. but
That's
I
right,
haven't-
right. Yes, I had to bring this can out, and there's all kinds of ancillary information I could provide you with, but I will reserve that until after we've had the beverage.
Pour away. But I will tell you, I went to an event for Pop's Blue Ribbon, PBR, a very classic craft beer. Not true. I'm just joking. They had an event, and they gave me a handle, a little plastic handle that snaps onto a tall boy like that.
Wow.
So I
There
have
you
a
go,
little
pass her
handle.
down.
Holy
It's like
crap.
it snaps on the top of it. Oh, you're looking at the. Ooh, it's like a pineapple beer. it looks
I
like.
can. Well, you
Finish your story, that's it.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It already looks citrusy.
Yeah, it does.
But yes, they gave me a handle that snaps
Even
onto
just
a tall
when I
boy. So
pushed-
whenever I drink out of a tall boy, I can drink it like a mug. It's just a handle there. You're welcome. Cheers.
Look at this.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Wow.
All right.
Man, just
It's a little citrusy.
is that all? Was that all that was in there?
No, there's a
You need
little
more?
bit.
No, just make
Oh,
sure there's
okay,
enough for
okay.
everyone.
All right.
I'll let some. I was
I
all
got
ready to
grapefruit.
dive in and start talking about this beer, but I picked this
Grapefruit.
one.
Definitely
You want some more?
grapefruit, citrus.
Hang on a second.
oh.
Let me set it up.
Go ahead.
Just
okay,
chill,
sorry.
Go ahead.
chill. So,
That is so gonna fall.
the first beer, Middle Mike picked, and so I didn't know what it was. So we're trying to shift it around so that everybody gets some kind of blind experience. This one I picked. I've had it in the brewery, but not out of the can. And now go from there, gentlemen.
All right.
Well, we've all got a definite big citrus smell.
Grapefruit. It's
Yeah, I got
also
grapefruit.
it's also another strong beer, another high ABV, high ALC, I believe.
Oh. Oh.
That aftertaste is
Oh. Wow.
not good.
No.
It's
I'm
a
giving it a no.
it's a rotten mango aftertaste.
Oh wow.
Very sweet. Wow. No, seriously, there is a.
You got sweet. I got exact opposite of sweet.
No, the aftertaste has a lot of sugar.
Sugary?
Yeah.
I think it's actually pulling the sugar out of my
Oh.
my cells, and I don't. Oh.
It is a rough
OJ
aftertaste.
looks like OJ,
I know,
baby.
and it
was
does
gonna say,
it
it looks like
just like
OJ.
juice. There's
Yeah,
a
it's-
little bit of bubble carbonation. to it.
Wow. I'm glad I didn't pour more in here. I had a feeling when I saw it.
Really?
Yeah. Ooh.
Well,
It's not
It's
an
not the
IPA.
worst
It doesn't
one.
have that hoppy taste that we had in the IPAs at all.
a little bite of that, but not
A little bite,
overpowering.
yeah. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like a framboise. Is that what they call the fruity
Oh,
beer?
that was the
was the
and what
raspberry.
Mike is
Yeah.
referencing is
A beer.
There's a very
the
fruity-
Saison
there you
Rustic
go.
Framboise. That is the reference you were looking
It's
for.
the fruity saison.
So
beer.
wow, you're
I'm not
equating-
saying no. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the fruit in this is so strong it reminds me of another fruity,
Okay,
fruity type
gotcha.
of beer. I do not
Gotcha.
think that. I think this is much more beery than that was. From
This-
my perspective.
And I disagree. I don't
So-
think
This
this
is
is very
a
high
juicy
ABV at all.
IPA.
It
You
doesn't
don't think
have-
so?
No, I
East
don't
Coast
really
type
taste it.
IPA, right?
East Coast IPA.
Well, it
Juicy
definitely.
IPA.
Well, okay, so But just to, man, and I lost it that quick. But so, oh no, what I wanted to ask was, do you think this is a sour beer? Is that?
I don't think it's a sour.
Okay.
I don't think it's supposed to be.
Ghost. No, and you're right. The more that I have it, the less I'm like shaken by it. But it does.
It's definitely a shocker. It doesn't, and the funny thing is, it doesn't taste like it smells. It kind of, the smell is, I was like, oh, I'll probably like this, and I tasted it and went, oh. I mean,
I've had a few like that.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I might like this.
But
Because
this
I
is
like the
something-
fruity beers.
This is a weird one though, for sure.
The smell right off the bat for me was not off-putting. I liked the smell actually, and the taste was completely different than what the smell was. And at first I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, what's that? But now that I've had a chance to have a few more sips, this is something that I would drink. I don't mind it at all. Yeah.
That's
Well, and
interesting.
I have to wonder.
Could also be his taste buds
how
melted
much
off.
because we're trying to push through beers at a little more brisk clip than in the past. I have to wonder how much of what is happening here is maybe a little aftershock of one beer to the next of how is the. I mean, I'm trying to really rinse my palate, drink a bunch of water, and try and clear it up, so I know. But I think this is such a contrast than the dank beer that we just had. I don't know, and I'm only speaking for myself. I worry about how it colors my perception. But to be honest, this to me is the same as when I had it in the brewery the day that I got it. So, but I'll let it go at that.
No
Have you
different
guys
out of
all?
the can versus right off the
You know
right
what?
out of the tap.
I don't see any apparent or glaring difference between what I got off tap and what's in the can. Now, that said, this was just canned days ago. So the freshness is spot on.
Well, that's good
So
to
it's
know.
fresh.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
and again,
I'm really working hard to
your point of
not get
freshness,
anything that after the whole mosh pit incident. I'm trying to be careful about how we select stuff.
The
so.
mosh pit.
That's the name. That was because and you know
that
what?
one from
I
last
never
week,
heard from
infamy.
Ben. I didn't hear back from Ben
Oh,
if
he said he was
picked
gonna
up
buy another
bottle.
one,
He
right,
said he was
yeah.
going to get another. We're going to revisit this beer because that's a whole nother
specific
story.
That was the
Look at
first beer
episode.
I've ever seen where everybody, it was like, oh my god, this is the worst thing I've drank
Well,
in a
we're
long
gonna have
time.
to
It
use
was
that
bad.
as a like what is it? Euphemism for when something goes completely wrong.
Just call it a
Okay.
that's harsh on the brewery.
that is
though.
me. Yeah, that's hard for acoustic
Okay, so
ales.
let's bring it back
All
around
right.
and talk to
Yeah.
this beer.
Okay.
So in terms of ratings, yeah, what do you think? I think I like it a little bit better than you, but not as much.
I'm
as
gonna
you,
give it. I mean, it's not undrinkable, but it's definitely nothing I would ever drink voluntarily again. It's just not my style at all. I'm gonna give it like a 0.5.
Wow.
Whoa.
I really
0.5.
don't like it.
Okay.
So, is there anything left in the can? Because I'll certainly take what's there, if
There
no
is,
one,
there is.
unless
Have
someone
some of
else
that.
wants
Oh,
it.
you can have it.
Now, and that being said, my 0.5 doesn't mean it's a bad beer. It just means I really don't like it.
I am not smart enough to know exactly what style of beer this is without taking the sock off the can. But and I agree, it's also not my style. But I feel like that I've had beers that are sort of this ilk where they're a little fruity and like that, and that I've liked much better. So even
Me
though
too.
like I wouldn't even call this a good example, even if I didn't like the style, I wouldn't even say this is a great example of that style. But I'm just not into it. I personally don't think it's a terrific beer. I don't think it's the bottom of the list. I think there's definitely flavors here, and there's it's interesting. It's worth trying, but it's not something I'd order. I'd say a 1.
Well, I keep coming around to it having some IPA-ness to it, and I like that. And it may have pineapple. One of my favorite beers is the Pineapple Sculpin, which initially there's
It's
no
not craft by some people's definition.
there's no way I would have chosen that beer to begin with.
When it was over
But-
there, when you sorry to interrupt. When you opened the can, I smelled pineapple.
Yeah.
But now that I've tried
Immediately,
it, something
even when I
different.
opened it, I was like, it was bam, fragrant right away.
But now that I've tried it, I don't get. I got a little bit of grapefruit when you said as well, but I don't get anything like that. Like it's much more. It's more orangey, more grapefruity than pineapple
Than
over here.
pineapple.
So I don't know.
Very
Go ahead.
citrus.
I interrupted
Yeah,
you. Sorry.
that's okay. And it's a beer I'll probably get again. I like it. It's
Rating.
rating.
Did you rate it? Oh, yeah.
I gave
Did
it a
you rate?
0.5.
0.5, 1,
I'm sorry. What was yours, Mike?
1.
Mike.
Okay.
I'll go with 2.
2.
Yeah, that's
Interesting.
something that.
So this is
that I
equivalent-
always-
Which is a great example of everody liking a different style. Because I don't,
Yeah.
like I said, I
Well,
don't think
and
it's bad.
that's-
I just don't.
I can't
But I
stress-
will say this is equivalent to the Dude double IPA that we just tried from your perspective. Equivalent.
Yeah.
Really.
Wow.
That seems very high to me, but
Well,
that's fine.
but it's personal preference, and that's the whole thing. That's
We
what-
have a
and that's what
skeptic,
this is
ladies
yeah,
about.
no,
and
that's
gentlemen.
fine. No, it's not a skeptic. It's just that.
Even if you're wrong, because you
No.
suck and you don't know what you're talking about. Because this is
From
horrible.
the guy that knows
It was-
least about beer,
I just tell
telling
him Mike. I mean,
another
this
guy
isn't
that he
a-
sucks and he doesn't know what he's talking
I
about.
think it was the
clarify.
surprise.
Only on the
aspect
internet,
of it for
folks.
me. So
Hey, how much am I getting paid for this? Beer.
Beers.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's right. I gotta be honest.
Well worth
Come
it.
on. So it was
So
the fact
2.
that I got surprised with the taste at first that I like it. Cool. So I'll give it 2. Yeah,
That's
I'll
interesting.
definitely
You give it a 2.
drink this.
What do you
again.
got, Jay?
Okay, so here's the thing. I love the smell. Full disclosure, I'm a fanboy for this brewery. I like everything they do, but I'm surprised at some of the negativity. I understand that this is because I know it was like literally went from the tank to the can and into my hands. In fact, to go full circle, we were talking earlier about the line that I was standing in that you saw on SD Beer Friends. Well, that was to get a can of this.
There you go.
So let me first say my observation. I love the smell. I popped the can and it's like whoosh, just the citrus and pineapple on the nose, but you don't get it on the palate. It is kind of grapefruit. Just all kinds of citrus. That's the best way to call it. And I like it. And even though I don't have a problem with the aftertaste at all, it's interesting to hear you, whoever said something about it, say it, because when I asked another member of SD Beer Friends, he posted a picture of this, and he said, I don't know about this aftertaste, but I'll see it again in a couple of weeks and see what it's like. Now, I know at the brewery, they frown on you sitting on this stuff for a couple of weeks. They, advocate drinking it right away. But based on this whole conversation about the aftertaste and a completely separate entity bringing up the same thing, I'll probably sit on a few cans just to see what happens as well. Yeah. I don't have a problem with the aftertaste. This is the kind of beer that I gravitate towards. The super citrusy, I like it. But I will also say it's not lifting me off the chair. So I'm with you, and I'm going with a 2 as well.
All right.
Wow, so we definitely have some differing opinions on
Yeah,
this one.
no, I think so.
And that's cool. I mean, that's the whole point.
And actually, I just burped a little bit inside, and I love even what came back on the burp.
Oh, I need to.
That's a whole different way to
that's-
sample
That's
it.
straight out of Beer Fest. Wait a minute, savor that. I want to smell it.
Yeah. Save the burp on that. I will say the aftertaste.
I like it.
I called it rotten mango earlier. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily rotten or poorly done.
Overripened.
Yeah, it's almost more. What's a good word for it? It's almost stronger than you expect. The beer itself is pretty smooth. The aftertaste is kind of like, whoa, like it's a much stronger feeling.
And it's so weird because I love the smell. I smelled it and I was like, ooh, I'm going to like this. And as soon as I drank it, I went, oh.
yeah.
And it kind of surprised me, to be honest with you. This was like, because I don't think you're really going to have that many times where the smell and the taste are that different. But the taste is nothing like the smell to me.
Well, and I will say, and I am not, I don't find this problematic, but as I sit here and I'm listening to these guys talk, I have grapefruit sitting on my tongue. The
that's probably why it
aftertaste.
tastes
It's
better to
like
you.
I just kind of ate a grapefruit, and that is
Yes.
what is kind of still sitting in the aftermath.
What do we got?
Yeah, review
Now,
over there.
and so based on all these fruity talks, there is no fruit in this beer.
Is that true?
Really?
Fruity talk. That's
There we go.
no.
Yeah, we were there.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. No, but here we go.
Very PC.
Let's see if I can
It takes
pull it
more
out
than
without
that
cutting
to-
myself.
Get the mics.
It's called
too.
blood beer.
This is
What is it?
an IPA. Goodbye, Pluto. This is can release just out of Pure Project, one of my favorite breweries. Like I said, full disclosure, I'm a fanboy, so maybe my opinion might not be the best, or it might be colored with the knowledge of what I'm drinking.
Can,
but just to give you a little insight,
I like the can.
ABV 7.1, so it's up there for a single IPA. 35 IBU. Hops,
wait,
Galaxy and Comet hops,
What's IBU?
which is very international bitterness units.
units,
It's
yeah.
just a way to measure how bitter it
I'm
is.
gonna have to learn a new term.
We just did.
I don't know what that means.
But one of the things I love about this is Goodbye Pluto and Galaxy and Comet hops. So it's got the whole space thing. But let's just see what it says here
So
as
there's
far
no
as
fruit in the beer. It's just the way that it's brewed.
no
It tastes and
fruit
smells like
adjunct.
wow.
It's the way it's
I would have
brewed
put some
with
serious money
the
on it. There's
with the hops.
That's
and-
and that's part of it interesting. Like that's part of the interesting thing is like I don't know that I would have labeled this an IPA. I think you mentioned IPA.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have ever said IPA. So just the fact that they made an IPA and then made it taste like that is
Right.
very impressive. Like that's definitely something.
Well, it's interesting. They normally have some sort of story on the can. This particular one doesn't have like what I've seen previously, because I was looking for some kind of reading material in case you like to drink in the bathroom. You can read while you're
Yeah.
sitting
Yeah,
there.
that's what people keep empty cans.
But,
of beer in
the
the
only
bathroom.
thing we have
Standard.
here
I like to
is-
drink as it's going out.
Yeah, it's a cycle.
It's much easier
You're
to
like a
sit on the can
filtration
all
unit.
night.
That works.
But it just says for optimal flavor, we recommend that you store this beer cold and drink it as close to the date on the bottom as the can as possible. Whereas I'm going to let a couple sit and just see what happens.
No fruit.
I don't have a problem with the stuff, but yet to my knowledge, there are no fruit adjuncts in here.
So, like I said, that's impressive, and we're doing the blind taste testing thing where we don't have any information on the
No
bottle
clue.
or the brand or any marketing or anything like that.
like it.
That's interesting. But hearing that, like, if I had ordered an IPA, if I went to a bar and saw an IPA, whatever, if I saw an IPA and ordered this and got this, I would be probably more impressed than the score that I just gave for this specific beer, if that makes
You know
sense.
what's funny is I almost.
But see,
I was just
but
thinking
that's
I would
why-
bump my score up half a point because I actually like it a little bit better. As I finished it now, I'm like, you know what? It's not that bad.
That's the interesting thing. And
But
I don't
see,
know
and that's
yeah.
why I think it's good to rate them before you know
Yeah,
the whole
right.
story.
Oh, I saw the can and I wanted to raise
because
it up a half a point. It's
this
a cool
is
looking can.
Oh, there you go.
This is why I say in the opening of the show, the palate prevails, because look at how opinions change once we see the beer and
Yeah.
talk about it. So
Yeah,
the
that's
palate never lies.
But I will say, like I said before, when I gave the rating, I said I would not order this. This isn't something I'd be interested in. It's still not something I would necessarily be interested in. But like I said, if I'm in a bar and I order something that's labeled as an IPA and I drink this, I would
alright
be
with
more impressed with it, because how do you make these flavors come out of that process and that type of those types
so
of
you
ingredients?
appreciate the craft aspect.
I'm very impressed by that. That's really cool. So
Yeah.
yep.
All right.
All right.
Anything
Cool.
else?
No.
Good.
That's it. That's
The
another
mics
beer. Look,
The mics have
The mics have spoken.
the
The
mics have spoken. The mics have spoken, and
Into
the
the
mics have
mics.
listened.
To the mics.
Man, we got it coming and going. So that's it. That's it for another success. Right up until that. Right
So
up
close.
until that
It was
point.
almost word successful.
Just cut that out, right?
Just
How many-
now.
yeah,
Cut it out, starting to- let's
Just
go.
as I was celebrating success, fate took and struck me a blow. So with that, we're getting out. Thanks again, Craft Beer Buds. If you're going to punish your liver, make it count. And wherever possible, drink it where they brewed it. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for checking us out.
Peace.
Peace. Cheers, gentlemen.
Right on. Nice beer.
I got to start cheersing with something in my glass.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're cheering with empty glasses. Isn't that like a
Poor
curse?
planning.
Yeah, we should probably do the cheers.
So, all right, well, we'll get into it.
All right, definitely my trip.